First contact and betrayal. By the late 23rd century, humanity had established itself among the stars. After centuries of internal conflicts, Earth had finally united under a single governing body, the Terran Alliance. With unity came prosperity, and with prosperity came the desire to reach beyond our solar system. Ark ships carried thousands of colonists to nearby star systems, establishing outposts that would grow into thriving communities. Terraforming technologies transformed hostile worlds into habitable ones. The Alliance maintained a modest defense fleet, primarily focused on protection against cosmic threats and piracy rather than warfare. Commander Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of the TS Horizon, the Alliance's flagship explorer vessel. The vast emptiness of space stretched before her, punctuated by the distant glow of stars. After 15 years of service exploring the frontier, she had never expected to be the first human to make official contact with an alien civilization. "They're approaching, Commander," Lieutenant Kai Jong reported, his voice steady despite the tension. Estimated contact in 5 minutes. The first signs of the Vexari had appeared 3 weeks ago, when long-range sensors detected unusual energy signatures approaching from the direction of Ta City. Rather than retreat, the Alliance Council had voted to extend a peaceful greeting. The Horizon had been dispatched immediately, carrying diplomats, scientists, and a token military contingent. Elena's heart raced as the alien vessel came into view. Unlike the utilitarian designs of human ships, the Vexari craft resembled a living organism, a massive structure of gleaming silver and blue that seemed to pulse with internal light. It moved with impossible grace for something of its size, as if it were swimming through the void rather than propelling itself. "Open communications," Elena ordered, straightening her uniform. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the Vexari. They were vaguely humanoid, with slender bodies covered in iridescent scales that shifted color with their movements. Their faces featured large, multifaceted eyes that reminded Elena of insect eyes, though they lacked mandibles or other insectoid features. When they moved, it was with fluid grace, as if their joints weren't quite solid. "I am Ambassador Tsath of the Vexari Confluence." The alien's words emerged through the translation system. "We bring greetings to the species known as human." Ambassador Wei Liu stepped forward. "On behalf of the Terran Alliance and all humanity, we welcome contact with the Vexari Confluence. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and mutual prosperity." The initial meetings proceeded better than anyone could have hoped. The Vexari presented themselves as members of an ancient civilization spanning dozens of worlds across multiple star systems. They spoke of cultural exchange, technological cooperation, and peaceful coexistence. They described themselves as explorers and scholars, much like humanity saw itself. Within months, joint research initiatives were established. Vexari representatives visited Earth and major human colonies, while small delegations of human scientists and diplomats were welcomed aboard Vexari vessels. The aliens shared advances in medicine that cured several previously untreatable human diseases. In return, humans offered unique insights into art, music, and philosophy that the Vexari claimed to find fascinating. Elena, now promoted to admiral and serving as military liaison to the Vexari, couldn't shake her unease. Something about the aliens' interest in human military capabilities and colonial defense systems troubled her. "They ask a lot of questions but provide few answers," she told the Alliance Security Council during a closed session. "We've shared detailed maps of our territories, colony locations, fleet deployments, and defense capabilities. What have they shared in return? Medical technology, yes, but nothing about their military, their homeworld, or their true extent." Admiral Reyes, Council President Okafor responded with a frown. "You were selected for this role because of your diplomatic skills, as well as your military experience. The Vexari have given us no reason to distrust them. With respect, Madam President, they've given us no reason to trust them either. They take far more than they give. We know the location of Earth, our colonies, Our fleet movements. What do we know about them? Has anyone been invited to their homeworld? Do we even know which system it's in? Her concerns were noted but dismissed as paranoia. Humanity was eager to embrace its new place in a wider galactic community. 18 months after first contact, Alina was overseeing a training exercise near Proxima Centauri, humanity's oldest and most populous off-world colony with over 5 million inhabitants. The exercise was a joint operation with a small contingent of Vexeri observers. Admiral, her communications officer's voice cracked through her personal comm unit. Multiple unknown vessels have appeared in the system. They're not responding to hails. Alina's blood ran cold. Put the fleet on high alert. All ships to defensive positions around the colony. Before her orders could be relayed, the view screen showed the impossible. Dozens of Vexari warships emerging from faster-than-light travel, their elegant forms no longer seeming beautiful but predatory. Without warning, they opened fire. All ships, engage. Alina shouted, but it was already too late. The Vexeri weapons tore through Alliance shields like they weren't there. The human fleet, taken completely by surprise, crumbled within minutes. As her ship shuddered under enemy fire, Alina watched in horror as the Vexeri ships began bombarding the colony below. Millions of lives snuffed out in moments. The Vexeri observers, she demanded. Where are they? They've killed the security detail and taken control of the auxiliary command center. Her second-in-command reported, his face ashen. Across human space, the same scene played out with devastating efficiency. Colony after colony went dark as Vexeri ships appeared without warning, systematically exterminating human settlements. On Earth, the Security Council watched in stunned silence as red indicators spread across their tactical displays. They knew exactly where to hit us, President Okafor whispered, watching the tactical display. They knew everything. Alina's ship, the TAS Defiant, was crippled but still functional. Emergency jump to Rally Point Omega, she ordered, knowing they had to warn any remaining human forces. Send the emergency broadcast on all channels. Broken Arrow, the code for total betrayal and catastrophic attack. The Defiant limped away from the devastation at Proxima Centauri, one of only a handful of human vessels to escape the initial assault. As reports continued to come in, the scale of the disaster became clear. 90% of human colonies had been destroyed in the first hour. Earth itself was under heavy bombardment, its orbital defenses overwhelmed. Why? Alina demanded of no one in particular as they jumped to safety. Why pretend to befriend us only to try to wipe us out? The answer came 3 days later, intercepted from Vexeri communications. The aliens hadn't been surprised by humans. They had been hunting them. Humanity's remarkable adaptability, creativity, and aggressive growth potential had been assessed as a future threat. The Vexeri confluence had a policy of eliminating such threats preemptively. They had done it before to other species. What the Vexeri hadn't counted on was human tenacity. While most of humanity's military and civilian infrastructure was destroyed, some survived. Remote outposts, deep space research stations, and ships that had been in transit during the attack, perhaps 5% of the human population altogether, remained. Admiral Alina Reyes, now the highest-ranking military officer known to be alive, gathered the survivors at a secret location deep in the Oort cloud. As they took stock of their losses, a cold resolve settled over the remnants of humanity. They tried to erase us. Alina addressed the assembled leaders of what remained of humanity. They failed. And now they've made the biggest mistake in their history. They should have made absolutely sure we were extinct, because as long as even one human lives, we will never stop hunting them, never stop fighting. Earth may be gone, but humanity endures, and we will have our vengeance. A plan began to form. Operation Phoenix. Humanity would rebuild in secret, developing technologies specifically designed to counter Vexeri advantages. They would study their enemy, learn their weaknesses, and strike when the time was right. The Vexeri thought they had removed a potential threat. Instead, they had created an actual one, a wounded species with nothing left to lose and everything to avenge. Operation Nemesis. 5 years passed in the shadows of distant comets and forgotten moons. What remained of humanity? Approximately 40 million survivors scattered across hidden bases and stealth vessels worked with grim determination. The initial shock and grief had hardened into purpose. Operation Phoenix had given them time to regroup. Now Operation Nemesis would deliver retribution. Dr. Aisha Khan, once a theoretical physicist at the Mars Research Institute, stood before the assembled leadership council in the central chamber of Sanctuary Base Alpha, carved deep within a rogue planetoid that had been captured and hidden in the darkness between star systems. "The Phantom Drive is ready," she announced. The room fell silent. For 3 years, Dr. Khan and her team had been developing a revolutionary propulsion and stealth system based on principles they had reverse-engineered from salvaged Vexari technology. Admiral Reyes, her once black hair now streaked with gray, leaned forward. "You're certain it works as intended?" "We've run over 200 tests," Aisha confirmed. "The drive creates a localized phase shift that effectively renders a vessel undetectable to Vexari sensors. More importantly, it allows for FTL travel without generating the telltale signature their detection grid is designed to locate." General Marcus Chen, commander of what remained of humanity's ground forces, nodded appreciatively. "And weapons?" "The Graviton Lance functions precisely as designed," replied Commander Takashi Yamamoto, head of weapons development. "It bypasses their shielding by creating a micro-singularity within their hull. Nothing they have can stop it." Elena surveyed the room, meeting the eyes of each council member in turn. These people represented the best of what remained: scientists, soldiers, engineers, and civilians united by a common purpose. They had transcended their differences, moved beyond old grievances. Humanity had been forged into something new in the crucible of near extinction. "Then we're ready," she declared. "Initiate Operation Nemesis." Within days, the first human strike force equipped with phantom drives departed Sanctuary. Their mission was reconnaissance, to penetrate Vexari space undetected and gather intelligence on fleet movements, defensive capabilities, and most importantly, the location of the Vexari homeworld. Captain Miguel Sanchez guided the stealth vessel Silent Hunter through the heart of Vexari-controlled space. The ship, a sleek design optimized for speed and stealth rather than direct combat, carried a complement of 12 crew members, all volunteers who understood the mission's dangers. Sensors picking up a Vexari patrol. Lieutenant Sarah Williams reported from her station. 3 cruisers, standard formation. Miguel nodded calmly. "Maintain course. Let's see if this phantom drive is everything Dr. Khan promised." The Silent Hunter glided past the Vexari patrol without incident. The alien vessels showed no sign of detecting their presence. For 3 weeks, the Silent Hunter and 11 other reconnaissance vessels mapped Vexari territory, identified fleet concentrations, and cataloged vulnerable targets. When they returned to Sanctuary, the intelligence they brought changed everything. The Vexari confluence was vast but not infinite. They controlled approximately 200 star systems, with their homeworld, Vexar Prime, located in a heavily fortified system near the galactic core. More importantly, they had discovered the Vexari's greatest weakness: arrogance. "They believe they've eliminated us entirely," Miguel reported to the council. "Their outer systems have minimal defenses. They've already begun to repurpose former human worlds for their own use." "And their communications?" Elena asked. "Decrypted, thanks to Dr. Patel's algorithms. They're planning a celebratory festival on Vexar Prime, marking the 5th anniversary of what they call the Human Purge." A cold smile spread across Elena's face. "Then let's give them something to truly remember." Operation Nemesis proceeded in 3 phases. First, the surgical strikes. 20 Phantom-equipped destroyers hit isolated Vexari outposts simultaneously across the edge of their territory. The Graviton Lances worked exactly as designed, reducing Vexari installations to atoms before they could even send distress signals. The second phase began 2 months later. Coordinated attacks on major Vexari fleet concentrations. Human vessels would appear seemingly from nowhere, devastate entire battle groups with weapons the Vexari had no defense against, then vanish before reinforcements could arrive. Panic spread through the confluence. Species they had thought exterminated were now hunting them with technologies they couldn't detect or defend against. Vexari ships began firing at sensor ghosts, sometimes destroying their own vessels in the confusion. Admiral Elena Rice stood on the bridge of the flagship Retribution, the most powerful warship humanity had ever constructed. Around her, a fleet of 100 vessels, the full might of humanity's rebuilt naval force, prepared for the final phase of Operation Nemesis. All ships report ready, Admiral. General Chen reported from his position as fleet second in command. Elena nodded, her expression resolute. Signal all vessels. Execute final jump to Vexar Prime. The human fleet materialized in the heart of the Vexari home system, bypassing the extensive defensive perimeter entirely thanks to the Phantom drives. On the main view screen, Vexar Prime hung like a jewel, a world of breathtaking beauty with swirling blues and purples dominating its atmosphere. The Vexari fleet is responding, Tactical Officer Commander Rodriguez reported. But they're disorganized. They didn't expect us here. Open a channel, Elena ordered. All frequencies. When the connection was established, she spoke with calm authority. This is Admiral Elena Reyes of the Human Alliance. 5 years ago, your species attempted to eradicate mine without provocation or warning. You failed. We have not come to exterminate you as you tried to do to us. We are not you. Instead, we offer you one chance to surrender unconditionally. The response was immediate, a barrage of weapons fire that dissipated harmlessly against the advanced shields of the human vessels. I expected as much, Elena said grimly. All ships engage as planned. What followed wasn't a battle but a reckoning. Human vessels, faster and more maneuverable than their Vexari counterparts, systematically disabled the alien defense fleet. Graviton lances carved through the pride of the Vexari Navy with surgical precision, while ground forces deployed to secure key facilities on the planet's surface. Within 6 hours, it was over. The Vexari hierarchy, the ruling council of their species, surrendered unconditionally when human forces breached their supposedly impenetrable underground citadel. In the aftermath, as Elena walked through the ornate halls of the Vexari High Command, she was met by the Supreme Hierarch, the leader of their entire species. You could destroy us all, the alien said, its multifaceted eyes reflecting confusion. Why don't you? Elena's response was measured, her voice carrying the weight of every human life lost to Vexari aggression. Because that would make us like you. Humanity doesn't seek extinction, even for those who try to exterminate us. What we demand is justice and security. The terms of surrender were non-negotiable. The Vexari would withdraw from all former human territories. They would provide reparations in the form of technology and resources to help rebuild what they had destroyed. A permanent human defense fleet would remain in the Vexari home system, ensuring compliance. Most significantly, the Phantom drive technology would remain exclusively human, a deterrent against any future aggression. As news of the victory spread among the scattered human settlements and fleet groups, celebrations erupted. For the first time in 5 years, humanity could look to the future with hope rather than just grim determination. Standing on the observation deck of the Retribution, Elena gazed down at Vexar Prime. General Chen joined her, his usually stern face softened slightly. We did it, he said quietly. We actually did it. Elena nodded. Phase 1. Rebuilding comes next. Earth? Eventually, she confirmed. It will take decades to make it habitable again, but we'll reclaim our homeworld. The victory against the Vexari had changed humanity's place in the galaxy. Word spread quickly among other species about how the supposedly extinct humans had returned from the brink to defeat the feared Vexari confluence. Diplomatic envoys from 3 previously unknown alien civilizations arrived within months, seeking alliances with this remarkably resilient species. As Elena reviewed the reports from these first peaceful contacts, she reflected on the transformation humanity had undergone. The betrayal and near extinction had burned away many of humanity's internal divisions and petty conflicts. United by survival and forged in adversity, humans had emerged stronger, more focused, and infinitely more cautious in their dealings with other species. "They tried to erase us," Elena murmured to herself, echoing the words that had become a rallying cry during the darkest days. Instead, they made us unstoppable. A new chapter was beginning for humanity, not just of recovery, but of unprecedented advancement and influence among the stars. The species that had nearly been extinguished was now poised to become a guiding force in galactic affairs, tempered by both the wisdom of near extinction and the compassion that had prevented them from becoming like their enemies. The stars that had once seemed threatening now beckoned once more, and humanity answered, scared, vigilant, but unbroken.